Welcome aboard the Bitcoin Express. My name is Chase. Let's get to it. On the first episode of Joe Rogan's Texas-based studio, he interviewed Adam Curry. Adam Curry is considered to be the inventor of podcasts. And on the episode, they talked about many topics. But one of the topics they spoke about were banks trying to control your life. Adam Curry said that everyone in Silicon Valley, all of these companies, they're competing with the US Federal Reserve, trying to become your bank. Because when you become a bank, you essentially control someone's life. If you control their money, you control their life. And he went as far to say that banks are even going to give people in the future loans at negative interest rates. This means they give you the money and they pay you to take the money, because once you do this, you essentially have control of people's money and the way they live their life, whether it's through student loans, loans for a car, or maybe even a mortgage. And it's pretty funny to think that the word mortgage in Old French, it literally means death pledge, because this is something people pretty much pay all of their adult lives until the day they die. And while they're under this contract, it's almost like the bank controls their life. So because of this, he was saying that when this apocalypse comes, when banks are, or companies in this case, Silicon Valley companies, are trying to control your life, you're going to need a Bitcoin, at least one. And as soon as he said this, Joe Rogan said, "What are you, a Bitcoin salesman?" And Joe Rogan was asking, "Well, there's Bitcoin. What about all these other altcoins? Why are you speaking about Bitcoin only?" And Adam Curry responded and he said, "I'm not into the altcoins. I'm not into any of that stuff. But 10 years of data have shown that Bitcoin really is the only one, the only cryptocurrency that you can trust, because as the way he sees it, it's the only cryptocurrency at the moment that you cannot manipulate, that you cannot change, you cannot influence." When we look at something like Bitcoin, this is a secret. I'm going to tell you this right now, especially for someone new in the crypto space. The value in Bitcoin, it doesn't come from it being fast or slow or having a cheap or low transaction fee. The value of Bitcoin comes from the fact that it cannot be manipulated. This is something that people new in the cryptocurrency space do not understand, but once they're in the space for a year or two, eventually they'll realize it. So I'm just telling it to you right now. You might not get it. Eventually you will. The value of Bitcoin is that it cannot be manipulated. It cannot be changed. When Bitcoin was created, the white paper written by Satoshi Nakamoto, the whole point of it was to make a currency that no one can change, because throughout history, money was always manipulated. Of course, the fiat dollars we know today, we know this can be manipulated. We know we could print it on demand. We know we can choose who gets access to the money. But even gold, which until this day has proven to be the best form of money, has been manipulated. We had countries, we had empires that had gold, pure gold coins, but over time they started to debase the gold. Maybe they added other metals, maybe copper to it, and then it ruined the money supply. So this was the goal of Bitcoin. No one can manipulate it. And that's why Adam Curry said he doesn't pay attention to these other altcoins. And I do want to clarify, I am a big fan of altcoins. If you watch this channel, you know I speak about altcoins. You know that I own altcoins. But when Adam Curry says that Bitcoin is the only currency at the moment that cannot be manipulated, I actually do agree with him at this moment. But maybe in 10 years, there will be others as well that you cannot manipulate. When you look at this chart of all of these other cryptocurrencies, except for Bitcoin, they can be manipulated. There are people in these projects that can influence the way the project works in the future. This can't be done for Bitcoin. We don't know who owns Bitcoin. We don't know who created Bitcoin. There's no one to go after. There's no one that has a big say in the network. This is actually why Bitcoin does not have many updates. People always complain that, Bitcoin needs to do this, it needs to do that, and there's never a change. This is actually the beauty. This is actually the value of Bitcoin. This is why institutions and companies buy Bitcoin. They don't buy any altcoins at the moment. It's only Bitcoin because it can't be manipulated. Even when we take Ethereum, which is the second largest cryptocurrency, it can be manipulated. Actually, the plan for Ethereum is that it has to be manipulated for it to succeed in the future. Ethereum is not even close to its final stage. They're going through a big transition now of changing their whole algorithm from proof of work to proof of stake. So for Ethereum to succeed, it actually has to be manipulated. It has to change. And of course, they have a founder, Vitalik Buterin, and he has a lot of influence in the project. When he says something, it can change the whole roadmap of the project. So of course, this is something that has to actually be manipulated for it to succeed. And many people don't know this, but in the early days of Ethereum, they broke the golden rule of blockchain. Blockchain, as I mentioned, was created to not be manipulated. No one can manipulate it. When you make a transaction, that's a transaction, you cannot reverse it. So in 2016, there was a smart contract on Ethereum that was called the DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization. And there was a bug in the contract, and $50 million worth of funds was stolen. So of course, the rule of blockchain is whatever happened, it was very bad. We just have to keep it this way. The project has to continue. But Vitalik Buterin and many people in the Ethereum space have said, no, we need to reverse the transactions, which is a big problem when it comes to manipulation. A blockchain project, you should not be able to reverse a transaction. Again, I want to clarify, I like Ethereum, I own Ethereum, I'm not bashing Ethereum, I'm just stating the fact that the transactions can be reversed. So in 2016, because of this, part of the project, they decided to reverse this transaction. And there were people that did not agree with this, and that's actually why we now today have Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic was the group of people that didn't agree, so they broke off and they made their own chain. So of course you can see Ethereum does not have this long history like Bitcoin. As Adam Curry said, Bitcoin has this 10-year history of no manipulation. That can't be said for Ethereum, which is one of the older cryptocurrencies in this space. There's been a lot of manipulation along the way. Again, I'm a fan of Ethereum. I think it will do well. But in regards to what Adam Curry is saying, Ethereum can be manipulated. And pretty much everything I just said about Ethereum can be said for almost every other altcoin. Of course, I can't go through every altcoin. At the moment, there's almost 7,000 of them. But just to show you an example, Tether, right? This is a stable coin, centralized. This one we don't have to speak about. This can be manipulated. That's not even a question. But even as we get to XRP, which is the 4th largest on CoinMarketCap, really the 3rd largest cryptocurrency because Tether is just a stable coin, a lot of manipulation can take place. Right now, what I'm going to tell you, this is not a bash on XRP. I'm not telling you if it's good or bad. I'm just stating facts. XRP is not a fully permissionless, decentralized cryptocurrency project. This is not, again, this is not subjective. This is objective. XRP, the team, will tell you this. Ripple, the team, will tell you this. Ripple is a permission or a semi-permissioned blockchain. So it's the mix between a public blockchain and a permissioned blockchain. So just right there, we know that it doesn't share the same sort of decentralization that Bitcoin has. So again, the Ripple team will tell you, the XRP team will tell you, XRP is a semi-permissioned ledger. And much of XRP's success, and also the success that, if they want to have success in the future, it depends on their team. They have a CEO, they have a whole board, and they have marketing, they create partnerships. And all it takes is for a country or a government to come after these people, and it can change the project, it can manipulate the project. XRP and Ripple are part of numerous lawsuits, right, in regards to the XRP token. When it comes to something like Bitcoin, who are you going to sue? There's no one you can sue. There's no founder. There's no board members. There's really no one you could come after. But when you have a centralized company, or like I said, again, I'm not saying XRP is decentralized or centralized. I'm just telling you there's board members. There's someone to come after. It's a semi-permissioned ledger. There is room for manipulation. And like I said, we can say this about so many projects. Even Bitcoin Cash, which shares a similar algorithm to Bitcoin, because their network is not as large and secure as Bitcoin, they're open to a 51% attack. This is when someone or a couple parties get together and they control more than 51% of the network. Therefore, they can manipulate the network. They can reverse transactions. And this actually did occur with Bitcoin Cash. They were victim of a 51% attack. So EOS as well, right? EOS along with XRP, it's a semi-permissioned blockchain. With EOS, there's only 21 nodes that control the whole network. Again, 21 nodes that control everything. So they're voted in by the network. So you can say the first part of EOS is decentralized. You have token holders vote in who these people are. But once they're voted in, there's only 21 nodes that control the whole network. That's nothing. That's easy and open to manipulation. Where with Bitcoin, there are thousands, multiple thousands. A project that I want to use as a good example of a project today that might not be decentralized, but maybe in the future it can be, is Cardano. There are projects that start off centralized on purpose, kind of like a bike with training wheels. They want to make sure everything is running smoothly, and then when they feel that it's safe, they take off the training wheels and they let it go into the wild. And then over time, it can prove itself as a decentralized network. So this is something that Cardano recently did. They went into their second phase of their roadmap, Shelly, which is decentralization. So like Bitcoin, you don't just get decentralization by proving yourself decentralized for a couple months or even a couple years. It takes time. So at the moment, we can say that Cardano is decentralized. It's in the beginning stages of decentralization. But Adam Curry said, Bitcoin has this 10-year proven track record of being decentralized. So maybe in 5 years from now, maybe in 10 years from now, if Cardano doesn't suffer any major attacks and it continues to stay decentralized, maybe if Adam Curry is on a podcast in 10 years again, he might say the same thing about Cardano, just like he said about Bitcoin. And like I said, this list goes on and on and on. Every project has someone you could come after. It has someone that you can sue. Listen, with all these projects, you can shut down many of them overnight, but with some of them, they're so big already, you can't shut them down, right? Something like Ethereum, it's so large. I don't think governments can stop Ethereum, but because of Vitalik being in the spotlight, because of all of the people working on the project, public figures, there definitely is room for manipulation or influence to change the future of the project. Again, I want to state Ethereum is my favorite altcoin. I own Ethereum, but in regards to manipulation, Ethereum has been manipulated and it will have to be manipulated in the future for it to succeed. A friend of mine, he asked me about Celo. This is a cryptocurrency that was recently listed on Coinbase. And he asked me, what is Celo? Why is it on Coinbase? Is it valuable? So Celo is a platform or a project that wants to make it super easy for people to send and receive stable coins. Just make it super simple, super easy. So I told him there's no value in this project. I know it sounds cool. I know it sounds like a cool project, easy cryptocurrency, but all the value in cryptocurrency as money comes from it being decentralized. As I mentioned already, it's all about, can anyone influence this project? Can they change the way it moves in the future? Are people willing to put in $300 million into a cryptocurrency and be secure in the idea that there will be no manipulation? So with something like Celo, it's just a young project. It's not doing anything special. Maybe it's decentralized at the moment. I don't know, that's up to you if you want to think it is or not, but it's not a threat, so no one's going to come after it. So I found this article, and it says that Celo is like Libra minus Facebook. Facebook tried to develop their own stablecoin, Libra, which was going to be backed by different currencies around the world. But because they're a centralized company and because they're a big threat to other governments were able to stop this project pretty much overnight. And that's what happens when you have a centralized project that is a threat, right? Facebook pretty much would possibly become the controllers of money around the world. So governments stop them in their track. So something like Celo, no one's paying attention to it. They're not a threat. But if something like Celo were to go and eventually become a threat, governments can shut this down overnight. As we look at this list, there are so many projects, especially these low cap coins, they can be ruined overnight. All it takes is for a government, a lawsuit, someone to come after them. They could be shut down, they could be manipulated. As we move up on this list, it's less likely that these projects can be shut down. They'll still continue. As I mentioned, Ethereum is so large, you probably cannot shut down Ethereum. But with all of these projects, they are not immune, at the moment at least, to manipulation. They have board members, they have team members. There's governments that can, slow these projects down, change their future, but you cannot do that with Bitcoin. There's no one to come after. For 10 years, it's been safe, it's been secure, and every day that Bitcoin exists, it gets stronger and stronger, and it's less likely that Bitcoin will be manipulated. So I do want to clarify again. I like Bitcoin and I like altcoins. I own altcoins. But when it comes to this idea of manipulation, at the moment in 2020, it can only be said for Bitcoin. It's the only one immune to manipulation. So in the words of Adam Curry, you're going to need a Bitcoin, at least one. And I'll add my little personal note and some altcoins as well. I hope that you found value in this video. And if you did, I want you right now to go down below, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.